the sergeant, Sergeant Sansucci, he comes over with his pistol on, and this is a county farm. You're not supposed to have a pistol, you know, and stuff. So he got a pistol, and he says, I want so-and-so. And he took me over to the secure area. And in the secure area, the police had some white boys. First, you know, standing at the door, they have a thing, you know, where you got to talk to the nurse. I got a little headache. So the white boy come up with a pair of scissors and tried to hit me, and I just moved enough right in the eye, and he missed me. So my partner said, yeah, it's serious stuff going on here. Anyway, long story short, when they let us out for rec, they had the Negroes that they had in there were stooges. Because if Negroes and white boys get into something, the Negroes got to get with you automatically, but not these. So they backed back. That means that they'd arranged that part of the jail. So then my cellie was a big old Negro. We called him Iceman. Anyway, so me and Ice was facing the white boys, and they got knives and everything. But this is in the cleanup area, and they got them mop buckets. Now they got plastic mop wringers, but in the old days they had metal mop wringers. You know, so shoot, me and Iceman got them. We was standing up near the showers, and it's a day room with benches and everything. So we got them mop wringers, and it's called a wheel. So we know what to do. This nigga just bams up all of this people in his area, then he steps over here, then he steps over here, then he steps here, then he steps back. The nigga up there, if it's two, is called a wheel. So then I would come, whop, and hit these people with these metal things, and they got handles on it. You hitting these white boys with, we didn't have to do it, but that's what we said, we're going to wheel on these crackers. So they had me in there so they would try to assassinate. You know, if you were kind of popular doing stuff that they didn't like, they're going to get rid of you. They talk about this today in California prisons, because I thought people had forgot about it, but my son was in there, and he said, yeah, Dad, they said this, that, and other. And he was reminding me about something that happened to me way back when. Anyway, so it was not necessary. But it showed us a point that Allah got you covered. When Allah got you covered, you can't nothing nobody can do about it. They don't know it. They have no idea. So the captain of the ship, in fact, Willie Ward passed away about a couple of years ago. He was the last of the Ward brothers. And so, captain of the ship, a competitor was the one that rescued our whole organization. We was bigger than them, and what he told me was true. If you keep doing that, you won't be captain of the ship. In other words, you lose your status, you won't be running your business. You're already loose. You're just loose. You're driving around the biggest, prettiest car in town with the ceiling all back and mink everywhere and diamonds, snorting cocaine. And it's all right. And all the police is looking to put you away. And you think it's all right. It's kind of like emperor with no clothes. Strategic thinking, possibility thinking. It means you have to take advantage of every offensive against you and turn it into a counteroffensive against the system. This is magic stuff. I'm saying this because there's stuff that happened in everybody's life, and it seems to be uncoordinated sometimes. I'm telling you this because I happen to know this stuff happened, is real, and I'm just relating how it related to me. And the job that we're doing. And is there a guarantee with the job? It appears that it is a guarantee with this. The guarantee is on evildoers. The guarantee is on Dalimeen. The guarantee is for the Mustadafin, those who are being oppressed, they will be given leadership and direction and guidance, right? All that's real. So when you look at the USA right now and the Zionists last week is a Christian lady. She was a big press lady from Palestine, so Christian Palestinian, very popular, very well known, and they just shot her and killed her. They said, we're not even going to have no investigation. We already know we could have killed her, right? They just say, forget it, okay. Now, everybody knows what happened. Not only that, but usually after a government kills somebody, they kind of leave them alone to have a funeral. But this government is at the funeral causing fitna and harassed the people so much they had to set the casket down because it was falling down. Did you see that part? It's unbelievable. Just wait a minute. Are they that dumb? Yes, they are. Because when Allah got it, we didn't just see it, the whole world saw it. And no matter what happens in the world, they got two beings on the same team, the Zionists and the Americans. And everywhere there's an American, if they're having the Latin American meeting right now, the Latin Americans saying, we're not going unless you let Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela or something. We ain't going. So half the people ain't going. And the U.S. is the baddest, supposedly. We run this part of the world. We got the Monroe Doctrine, and we gonna run this show. Everybody say you run it by yourself. Even they stooges in this area are not going. Or two or three of them show up in this empty room, where the echoes go all over the room. I'm just trying to tell you, we chose the right road a long time ago. And it was, to us, it was an easy choice because after seeing so many signs, you say, all right, now other people, see, the longer you do something and you know it's right, the easier it gets. The easier it gets till it become habitual. You do the right thing no matter what. It's just a habit. You size everything up and you do the right thing because it's habitual. Nafsan mutmaina is when you do things that are right. Nafsamara is when there's a struggle. And usually the bad side wins. Nafslawama is when there's a struggle with the consciousness and what have you. And sometimes you do what's right, sometimes you do what's wrong. Because that's the human thing. That's why we ask Allah for forgiveness all the time. So the Quran refers to that stage as nafs lawama. That's when you move from the animal stage, amara, to the human stage, nafs lawama. When you make decisions, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Nafs al-mutmaina is when you done got so high, the struggle still exists, but you don't struggle right and wrong. You just do what's right automatically. That's deep. You just do right automatically. That's a stage in the Quran called Nafs al-Mutmainah. That's when the struggle of right and wrong, when you've got so accustomed to doing right that it's more of an automatic systems check association where you just associate right and wrong and you do what's right. It was one Negro here in the U.S. Uh, he was making a lot of CDs not long ago. He was in Australia. If you think of this guy, he's a Negro. He was over in Australia. He got real famous, especially at the height of his fame was 10 or 15 years ago. I would say 10 years ago. Then he stole a lot of money. You know, he was real popular. Used to be a new Imam up in New York. But he got kicked out of that because in 1983, I met him in about 83 when he got kicked out of his community because he had went over to Saudi Arabia in 1983 and they gave him a lot of money. They did that in those days. And he came back and bought a red Cadillac. He got the money for the community. He came back and bought a red Cadillac. Then the community kicked him out, so he was with some friends of ours up in New York. And they was telling us, yeah, that's so-and-so. And anyway, later on, he polished his image up. People forget. And he went over to Australia. Negro gift the gab. And he raised probably $1 zillion. And then the money disappeared. Stuff like that. Why did he go there? He go there because I announced here 15 years ago that I'm going to, it wasn't long ago that they said I couldn't go to the UK. England. England is good for me because I know a lot of people there and I could raise $1 billion because everybody speaks English in England, right? So it was 2008 and 2009, they passed the ordinance that I couldn't go there. So I anticipated, so I'd been about the same period, I had been talking about Australia. I don't know if anybody remember Australia and New Zealand. They all speak English too. They got a lot of Muslims there. So it was just a threat, having a good time, you know. So they sent that Negro over there to cheat everybody. And so if here I come as a Negro, right? Just like him, sound like him. Then, so they preemptive. They try to preempt anything you might do. But we were saying that, just giving them something to do, and they did it. Yeah, they did it because in 1983, this guy stole, well, maybe his first name is Khalid, something, I don't know. In 1983, he went over to Saudi Arabia and come back and bought a red Cadillac. That's terrible. Then he went to Australia, and took all their money because I was kicked out of England. So I said, well, I'll go to Australia and I'll go to South Africa. Well, as soon as I mentioned South Africa, they invited me over there and they sent me on a tour all over South Africa because I knew everybody, but it was to raise funds for them instead of raise funds for ourselves. And how could I turn it down, you know? So that lets you know that the boss man is controlling literally everything in your sight. and making them to do making everybody do things. And if you're in, boss man will put you on the upward thing and you'll be invited everywhere. You'll be on the show. You don't have to worry about it. But if boss man takes you off, that means when you go out to this part of Virginia, that part of Virginia, this part of Maryland, that part, you're not on the list. And you're supposed to be in isolation. Only a few good people that kind of know what's going on, they'll support you. But all the officialdom, they done sent them a message. That's common and it's normal. But if you're on your job, you do stuff to find out exactly who is what's what. It's a test for you. It ain't no big deal. You've been knowing it all the time.